All right. Well, thank you so much, Whitney, for the 5 tips. Just in review: 1, create a budget. 2, create a boost your emergency fund budget. Work on some type of side hustle. Pay down your debt, and then use this time wisely, especially grow your network. Use the time to grow your network. Thank you so much, Whitney. We appreciate your thoughts and tips. Hi, I'm Ryan Vasso with the Venture College, a program within the College of Innovation Design at Boise State. The Venture College helps students and community members launch their ideas beyond the classroom and turn those ideas into startups, lifestyle businesses, side hustles, and other ventures. With the COVID-19 situation, we know that more and more people in our community and throughout Idaho, beyond just students, will be looking for ways to generate extra income. That's why we've started the Side Hustle series. We will be talking to successful entrepreneurs about starting and growing side hustles that can be done from just about anywhere in the world. If you're interested in learning more or need some help, contact us at venturecollege@boisestate.edu or go to our website to learn more. Also, watch out for our social media accounts for the next installments of the Side Hustle series. All right, everyone, I'm here with Whitney Hansen from whitneyhansen.com and also the host of the Money Nerds podcast, which has over 1 million downloads now. So congratulations, Whitney. We reached out to Whitney specifically because of the whole coronavirus thing. It's crazy on our economy. There's predictions that unemployment rate could go 20% plus. Millions of people and jobs are being affected. So you deal with money, you deal with finances. We just want to reach out and see what tips do you have for whether it's college students or just the community and broad during this kind of financial crisis time.
Yeah, I love this question. I've got a few different tips. The first thing, this is not included in my 5 tips that I'm going to share, but make sure you're managing your mind during this time. If you are listening to the news nonstop, you're going to feel like it's doomsday, and it is a scary time. I respect that. But at the end of the day, the world is not going to end, and we still have to move forward with our finances. And so if it's consuming you, it's probably not a good thing. So maybe turn off the news for a little bit and dive into your finances.
Be streaming CNN for 14 hours a day.
I mean, you can, but I mean, you're probably going to be investing in gold by the end of it.
Great. Yeah, so let's get on to your regular tips then.
Let's do it. So the first tip is to create a budget. This is like the least sexy thing in the world, but budgets are so critical for your financial life because what that does is that tells you what is your cash flow? What's your situation actually looking like? Which expenses do you maybe need to reduce or cut in a time of uncertainty? And so a budget is so easy to create. You write down your income, you list out all of your expenses, and ideally you have every single dollar allocated. So every dollar is a job. So when you take your income minus your expenses, you're left with 0, which means you allocated every single dollar. So it's a really easy thing to do. The tough part is sticking to the budget. You have to check in with it weekly to make sure you're staying on track and see how much money you're actually spending.
It seems super simple, but do you use any tools or any templates to kind of create that budget, or it's literally just a piece of paper and a pen and go for it?
I think the best way to create a budget is piece of paper and pen to just go for it. If that's what's holding you back is which app do I use or what piece of software, don't let that stop you. But I personally prefer Google Sheets. I think it's really easy. You can have it on your phone, you can have it on your computer, so it functions like an app. And so I think it's really good because you can customize that. But if you do want to see how do I get a budget template? How do I do this stuff? whitneyhansen.com/how-to-budget. I walk you through literally exactly what to do. So it's really easy to follow.
Awesome. All right. Tip number 2.
Tip number 2 would be to boost up your emergency savings. During times of uncertainty, it's really scary if you do not have cash in the bank. That's what I find a lot of people have the most anxiety, they have the most stress, and they're the most vulnerable to really crappy things happening in their financial lives. So for an emergency savings, if you don't have one currently, aim to get 1 month of your living expenses in a savings account, separate from your checking account. If it's in your checking account, you're going to be tempted to spend it. So make sure it's separate. And then from there, ideally, you're going to start to slowly boost that up to about 3 months of your living expenses.
So for the people that possibly have lost their job, is that too late? Is that tip more for the people that still have a job?
No, not at all. In fact, that actually leads into one of our next tips too, which is to side hustle. This is something where, especially in downtimes, we need to be very, very active about how we spend our time and watch that closely. If you find that you're watching Netflix or you're scrolling through CNN all day long, you have time to side hustle. You can figure out a way to make money during a downtime. So some of my favorite side hustles for people would be DoorDash, Uber Eats, and even Amazon Flex. These are all very low barrier to entry, and you can actually make a decent chunk of money if you utilize these. So take this time to really prioritize making additional money if you don't have that emergency fund in place.
Just wear your face masks and have a bunch of Lysol with you.
Exactly. Wear your gloves, get your apocalypse gear. You'll be great.
All right. Tip number 4.
Tip number 4 is once you have that emergency savings in place, then it's time to refocus on paying down your debt. Now, specifically the debt that I would tackle if I were in the average American shoes is credit card debt. The reason why is the interest rates are so crazy high, and credit card companies, as sad as this sounds, they don't care if you've lost your job or not. They're still going to get their money. Whereas a federal student loan, you can defer that based on your income and your life situations. You can't do that with credit cards. So I would really actively prioritize getting rid of those as quickly as possible, again, after you have your emergency savings.
Just a quick thought. What's your thought on a home mortgage? Some people say it's okay to keep it on. Others advocate paying it down as quickly as possible. What's your thought on that?
I have strong opinions on this, actually. I think it depends on your situation, and it depends on if you plan on staying in this home. So for me personally, when I was looking at that decision for my own life, I looked at, do I put that cash into paying down my mortgage, or do I put that cash into the bank for a down payment on another home? And when I ran the numbers, it made more sense for me to do it that way. So it's super situational, but usually if you're not going to die in the house, probably don't try to pay it off early.
Okay, fair enough. All right, last tip.
The last tip would be to use this time to grow your network. Your network is your net worth. And I think in today's world, especially with all the pandemic going on, it's really easy to just sit at home and treat this like a vacation. But if I were looking for certainty in my life, I would be using this time to connect with people. I would be hopping on Skype calls and Zoom calls to learn about how can I support people in this downturn. I would start to talk to small businesses to see if there's ways I could be of service. Use this time to network and to help others, because that is what's going to help you get that next job potentially if you are laid off.
How do you do that without being spammy? So for example, I saw a post on LinkedIn where someone said, like, if you're cold calling me, like, it was health related, but it was like, if you're cold calling me now, it's like the worst time ever to talk to me. So how do you kind of do that without being spammy or knowing like who to contact?
You start a podcast and then you have an excuse. No, I'm teasing. But that is actually a good way to go. I think it depends. If you're a college student, use this time to really play that college student card. Hey, I'm a student at Boise State. I would love to learn about how you launched your business or what you're doing to take advantage of the downturn. So I think there's different ways to do it. If you're a working professional, yeah, it might be a little bit more difficult, but there's still plenty of opportunities. There's online book clubs. I've seen so many of these popping up. It's not even funny. Online book clubs. There's networking events that are even virtual now. There's really no excuse to not stay connected and grow your network in a down economy.
Do you use LinkedIn very much?
I don't as much, no.
Okay.
It's usually just a lot of people reaching out for stuff and time, and I don't always want to give my time.
Fair enough. All right. Well, thank you so much, Whitney, for the 5 tips. Just in review: 1, create a budget. 2, create a boost your emergency fund budget. Work on some type of side hustle. Pay down your debt, and then use this time wisely, and especially grow your network. Use the time to grow your network. Thank you so much, Whitney. We appreciate your thoughts and tips. Thanks for listening. While you're waiting for the next episode, feel free to contact us or follow us on social media.